So in the series of learning Python programming languages, in the previous video we have seen one coding exercise, like you have to calculate BMI, body mass index, right? Now in that case we have seen something like this. The weight should be in kilogram and it should be considered as int, height should be in meters and it should be considered as float, something like this, and the final output should be a whole integer, not in fractional part. Like if I enter weight 48 and height 1.5, then directly it will give like 21.3333, something like this. But I don't want this number, I want whole number like 21, only integer I want. For that, what you have done, convert this into int. Type conversion we have done, right, in this previous exercise. But one more thing we can do is we can round off this number. Rather than just forcefully converting that into integer, just round off the number, right? Like if it is 21.3, it will give, after rounding off, it will give 21. In mathematics, I hope you have done these kind of calculation. If the number is 21.67, so after round off it should give 22, because after decimal it is greater than 5, and here it is greater than, it is less than 5. That is why 21, the nearest integer of this is 21 and the nearest whole integer to this is 22, not 21. This is type of rounding of the number, right? So for this thing also we have a inbuilt function in Python, that is round function. So in this video we will discuss about round function, what is round function, and there are many things we can do with this round function, and there are some tricky things also and some special cases also, like how to break a tie. If after decimal it is 21.5, then it will give 22 or it will give 21. These kind of cases also we will be discussing in this video, right? So let's see. I hope now you are aware about this working of this round function, right? It is used to round off the numbers. Now let's see general syntax of this function. How you will write? Just you will write round, and in bracket two parameters are there, two arguments. One is the number you want to round off, and next is number of digits. Number of digits, right? Now see, these two arguments are there. In this case, this number, this is compulsory because this is the number you want to round off. Suppose I want to round off this number, I want to round off this number 21.33. So I'll give number 21.33. Obviously that this is the number, so this is compulsory. But this number of digits, the second argument, is optional, right? Number of digits up to which you want to round off this number. If it is 333, something like this, and I want to round off this, generally we use up to 2 decimal point in calculation, right, or maximum 3 decimal point, right? So I want to round off this number up to 2 decimal points, up to 2, 1, 2. So what it will give? 21.33, because after 2 it is 3, means it is less than 5. So no updation would be there. As it is, it would be 21.33, right? So this is what the number, this is compulsory to mention, and this is optional. The number of digits you want to, up to which you want to round off the number, this is completely optional. And this value of number of digits can be positive, 0 or negative, right? By default, if you don't give anything, it would be considered as 0. 0 means it will round off this number to 21 only. It will give integer nearest to this number, right? So this is general syntax of round number. Now let's round function, sorry. Now let's take some examples and what this round function will return. See, so these are some examples. First one, we want to round this 7, but this is what a complete, it's an integer, right? So it is not been affected by this round function. So directly it will give nearest integer to 7 is 7, and the output, this what it will return, 7, it will return an integer. The class or the type, if you find out using type function, that would be int in that case, the class. In this case we have specified number of digits, yes, but it is integer, not decimal. So it will not affect this thing, and directly it will return 7 only, and the output and the type of this would be int. So if n digits are not given, so it will return an integer, right? If n digits are given, in that case what it will return? If it is an integer value, then it will return an integer. If it is a float, something like this is the case. 2.66, this is float and we have given n digits, right? So it will return 2.67. So the output of this return value, this type would be float. In this case it would be float, in this case it would be return. So it will return either int or float. It will depend how you are using that thing, right? In this case we are giving 0, but we are providing n digits. Although it's 0, we are providing. So it will return 3.0. Still it is a float, not int. If you don't provide, in that case it would be int. In this case it is 7.61, but we are not providing number of digits. Second argument is nothing, right? So in this case it will return 8. Now the output, this class of this or the data type of this would be integer. So I hope you got when it will return int value, when it will return a float value. The type of that return value would be int and float, right? Now one case has some special cases are also there, like tie breaking cases. If I have something like this, print round 7.5, we have seen if this value is greater than 5, means plus 1 would be added to the final result, means it's 7, so 1 would be added, because nearest integer to this is 8, not 7. If this is 7.41, it will give 7. Nearest integer to this is 7, right? If the value is less than 5, but the value is if 5, in that case what it will return? It can return 8 also or 7 also. So two cases are there. So for tie breaking in Python they have used, it will return the nearest even integer, E1. So 7.5, either it will give two cases, 7 or 8. But even is 8, so in this case it will return 8. But if I have written something like this, round 6.5, in this case what it will return? Two cases can be there, either 6 or 7. So nearest even integer is 6. Nearest even integer to this number is 6, not 7. So in this case it will return 6, not 7. 1 would not be added to the final value. So this is in Python they have used for tie breaking. In everywhere this rule will be used for tie breaking, right? Nearest even integer it will return, right? So for you, one question is, what would be the output of these two cases, round 11.5 and 12.5? This is for your assignment, right? Next is, okay, we will round off integers, right? So let's take some examples. Now see, here I am using integers, not floating point number. So, and this is the number, this is number of digits you want to round off. So this number, the data type of this should be like, it support int and float. But if you provide string, something like this, it will give error, right? So we cannot provide string here. That should be int or float. But it will not affect this integer value if number of digits are positive. It is 2, it is positive, so it will not affect this number. It will directly return as it is the number. If it is 0, then also it will not affect the number. It will return 674. But if you provide this number of digits, that value in minus, negative value, that will affect this number. Now, in which case, how it will return? How it will affect this thing? What it will return now? So it is minus 1, right? So generally, a round function returns what? Multiple of the number closest to the multiple of 10 to the power minus number of digits, this thing. So if I write 10 to the power, here number of digits are minus 1, so minus 1. So 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 1 means 10. So closest multiple of 10 to this number is what? Multiple of it should be multiple of 10. So multiple of 10 is either 670 or 680. These are multiple of 10. But closest to this number is 670. So it will return 670. Or one shortcut you can apply is what? If it is -1, it should be negative in this case. So the last digit would be, first of all, be 0. This would be 0. Now it will round off the remaining digits. So this digit is 4, it is less than 5, so it would be as it is 6, 7. That's it. I hope you got it. If not, let's take one more example. If it is -2, in this case, number of digits -2, so 2 digits would be 0, right? Now, round off the remaining digits, only one digit is remaining, 6. And this digit next to 6 is 7, 7 is greater than 5. So, this 6 would be rounded off to 7 plus 1 would be added to the final digit because it is greater than 5. So, it would be 7. You can also check with this 10 to the power minus number of digits. Minus number of digits is -2. It is -2. So, now it is 2. 10 to the power 2 means 100. So, the closest multiple of 100 to this number is obviously 700. Multiple of 100 is either 700, 600, 800, something like this. Closest to this is 700. Yes, that is why it will give 700. So, if it is negative value, then it will affect the integer also, right? I hope you got this. Now, next example is, but if I write something like this, -3, number of digits are 3, so 3 would be 0, 0, 0. Now, what? Remaining is what? So, generally we consider it with 0, right? So, it would be 1 now. Or if I write something like this, 10 to the power -3 means 10 to the power 3 means it will return closest multiple of 1000. Closest multiple of 1000 with this is what? 1000 only, right? And if this number of digits, this value exceed, here individual number of digits are 1, 2, 3. So, till 3 it is fine. If it is greater than 3 like -4, in this case it will return to 0. Because closest multiple of, now this time 10,000 is, obviously it would be 0 now. Nothing, right? Okay, so this is your assignment. Now pause the video and find out what would be the output of these two cases, right? So let's see here, -1, in that case, this one digit would be 0. Now the remaining is 2 digits, 66. So 1 would be added or not? Because this is 5, not greater than 5, not less than 5, if it is equal to 5. So tie breaking rule is what? Nearest even integer. So even is what? 6 only. Because if you will add 1, that would be 7. 67 is not even, 66 is even. So it would be as it is 66. In this case, this would be 0. Now 67, it is 5. So two cases, nearest even is 68. Either it would be 67 or 68, but even is 68. So in this case, it would be 680. Now I hope you already, completely are aware about this tie breaking rule. So let's take one more example. If I write something like this, we can round off negative number also. Like if I write -8 divided by 3, that is also fine. 8 divided by 3 and minus, it would be given -3 after rounding off, right? Now if I round off, like round -1.5, it will give you what? -2. Even is 2. So 1 would be added like -2. If I write round, like if I round it to 2 decimal, -8.3, 8 divided by 3, but up to 2 decimal I want to round off this number. So it will give -2.67, right? Because 8 divided by 3 would be 2.66666, something like this. Okay, so we have few more examples. This is for your assignment. These output you have to tell 6.75 up to 1 decimal I want to round off, and 6.85 up to 1 decimal I want to round off. But we have decimal number and negative, this value, negative number of digits. In that case, If it is positive, it means you have to round off this number up to 1 decimal point, means it will give 674.1 only, but we have negative value. In this case, what will happen? Same 10 closest multiple of 10 to the power minus number of digits, this thing it will give. So in this case, it will give after decimal, all would be 0, 0, 0. This 1 would be 0 because of this is minus 1, so this is 0 and it will give 6, 7. Now next, okay, what it will return? This is also your assignment, you have to let me know in comment section, right? Now let's see practical of these things. Let's try out this round function on our laptop. So let's create a new file. I am giving the name round underscore function. Don't give just round.py because round is inbuilt function, so it will conflict with that thing, right? Now simply we are just rounding off like round simply 7. So it is integer only, so it will not affect, it would print 7 only. And also if you check the type, so we have a type function like type round and 7. So the type would be int only because it is integer. And if it is 7 up to 2 decimal, 7 up to 2 decimal, but it would be 7 only and the type would be int only because it is integer, number is integer, not decimal. And if I give 7.66 something like this up to 2 decimal and 7.66 up to 2 decimal, in that case it will give 7.67 and in that case class would be float, right? Return type would be float, round will return float value, right? But if you do not provide any number of digits here, in that case it will give 8 and the class would be int only. So if you not provide here number of digits, it will return integer value. If you provide here number of digits, then either it will return int value or float value depending on the number you are providing, right? Now next case is what? If I write something like this 7.5. So I hope what it will return, the type you got 7.5, in that case it will return 8, right? It is a tie breaking case. So even nearest even to this number is 8 only. But if I write like 6.5, then it will not return 7, it will return 6 only because nearest even number, even integer to this is 6, not 7. Two cases, 6 or 7. It can return either 6 or 7, but even is 6, so it will return 6. So now next we can take this example, like if I write 67420, because it can be 0 also. So in that case 674 only, it will not affect this number. If I write here 2, then also it will not affect this number, it would be 674 only. But if this is negative number, minus 2, in that case it will return 700, multiple of 100, 10 raised to power minus number of digits, right? So these 2 would be 0, 0 and now 6 remaining digits would be rounded off, remaining is 6 only. And here we have 7, so 1 would be added, that is 7, right? If I write here minus 3, in that case 1000, multiple of 1000, nearest multiple of 1000 to this number is 1000 only. But now if it is greater than 3, that is 4, here number of digits are 1, 2, 3. So up to 3 it is fine, but if you give 4 greater than 3, then it would return 0, right? Negative number also we can round off, negative number also like minus 8 divided by 3. It will give you, minus 3. And if I divide up to 2 decimal point, it will give you minus 2.67, right? And something like this, if I write minus 1.5, it will give you minus 2. And if you give minus 2.5, then in this case it will give you minus 2, not minus 3, because nearest even integer is 2, not 3. So minus 2.5. So I hope you got this is something about round function. You can try out this function with different examples and all, and if you find something difficult and if you're not getting something, then you can ask me in comment. So I hope you are now aware about this round function, how to use this round function, in how many ways you can use this. If it is a tie breaking case, special cases, then how you can break that tie, what is the rule, and how you can use this with negative number, how you can use here positive and 0 and negative value, how you can round off a decimal number, how you can round off a integer value, right? So now in the next video we'll see f strings. So now it's in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.